Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Cardellichio, part 4 today. Something's going on with somebody's computer or software here. Want to welcome you to another segment of Momentum Monday. I'm here with my co-host, leadership expert, America's leadership expert, attorney Jen Garrett. Jen, we've been talking about everything except for Momentum Monday so far today. Trying to figure out the snafus that have been happening today. So how are you and what's going on?
I'm good. We've had some technical difficulties, so we're not live. We're recording, and you're going to post it. But it's been an interesting Monday, to say the least. But you know what? That's life. You're going to have technical challenges, and you just got to roll with it. We've had some laughs along the way. That's just how it is. You got to keep it all moving.
Yes, we've had some laughs along the way. And we're thinking about having a podcast about the laughs in addition to the Momentum Monday, because it's pretty funny. But anyway, attorney Jen Garrett, she is author of the best-selling book, Move the Ball. Excellent book. It's always here on my desk. I recommend it to everybody. So Jen, how are you today? Besides the snafus that we've had to deal with thus far and the laughs, we've had a lot of laughs. So tell me, what is it that you want to speak about today? I know that you have a topic. I think I have a topic that we can touch upon. So tell me, what is it you want to discuss?
Yeah, I think as we've gone through these snafus, I really want to just hone in on, you got to roll with what happens to you in the day. Things are going to not go your way. We've had technical difficulties. I was mentioning when we tried to record, I think part 2, that I had dropped this box of stuff all over the floor, and I just smiled. You just got to roll with it. You can't get upset. And the reason why is because you have to remember that you're always in control of your emotions, or you should be. You have the choice with what you want to do with your emotions and how you respond to everything that happens. So with these technical difficulties, for example, we're just laughing. We're telling stories as we're trying to get set up, and that's okay. But what happens when you do that is you're keeping that positive energy up, so that you can continue to do the things that you had set out to do that day. Whereas if you start getting flustered, all that's going to happen is your energy level is going to go this way. You're going to be in a negative mindset. You're not going to want to get things done because you're pissed off over whatever happened. And here's the reality. You can't change what happened. It's done. It's over with. So let it go and just roll with it.
You know what? It's very important for those of us that are going to be listening to this, even though this isn't live. It's very important, this discussion. And I will tell you, in my earlier days, Jen, the computer would have been out the window. Literally would have been out the window. And I would have looked down at the window and I would have felt good. And I would have said, I proved my point to you now, didn't I? However, I would have to go to my computer guy. He would have to retrieve all the information off of the computer. And then I'd have to go out and buy another computer. So it would probably be a couple of day process before I actually had my stuff back. All right. And what you had said, controlling your emotions, and that's in part what I wanted to talk about. Controlling your emotions is very important to being an entrepreneur. It's very important to running your own business. It's very important to be a mother or a father, a son, a brother, controlling that emotion. And it's not Pollyanna, as we've said before. It's something that you can see the possibilities when you're not in that negative mindset where you want to throw your computer out the window. And there was that momentary lapse where I almost went back there and it was almost thrown out the window. But then I said, no, it would be a bad example for our audience today. But controlling that emotion, no matter what happens, it's very important, right?
Yes. And I think it goes to self-awareness. You have to be aware, self-awareness, and then aware of the situation that you're in. So when something happens, you're catching yourself, just like I was mentioning. I was carrying this box and then I dropped it and the stuff fell on the floor and I was just like, wonderful, but then I laughed. I was like, well, I'm going to pick all this stuff up. And actually there was something in there that I didn't know was in there that I was like, oh, I could use that. So it worked out well, but it was that, okay, you know what, this happened. I'm aware of it happened. I get to choose. What am I going to do as a result of it? So I just laughed at it. And I think when you have an attitude of gratitude too, that helps you with these things, because these little things that happen, these tech issues, whatever, they tend to not be as big of a deal. And you just laugh it off and you're like, all right, let me just figure it out and get on with my day.
And if you have that experience in doing this, it's very important because as an entrepreneur, there are going to be days where you make that decision, and then you may realize immediately or sometime thereafter, boy, this wasn't the best decision to make, but you made a calculated decision, right? It could be anything. And now you're losing money. Now you've put you've put a part of your business at jeopardy. And it happens. It happens. I've been there, and I know you've been there, right? Mm-hmm. And so you need to sit back, and you need to relax, and you need to chill, and you need not to throw that computer out the window. It's the same thing if you're playing football or any sport, because mm-hmm. you can have that day where you're not on, or you have to kind of will it, but then you have to step back. I used to love those games, actually, Jen. You're down by 3 or 4 touchdowns. There's, mm-hmm. It's the end of the third period, and and you're like at the end of the third quarter, and you're like, oh, I got hockey in my mind, I got baseball in my mind right now, right? It's at the end of the third quarter, and you're down, and you're like, oh, we need to start playing now, right? And now you need to relax. And Joe Montana was one of the best in doing that, and so mm-hmm. was Tom Brady. Yes. And you smile when I say Tom Brady now, don't you?
Well, the reason, I think of the Super Bowl for one, right, against the Falcons, because they were down by so many points, and that comeback.
What was that? They were down like 24 points, was it?
Yeah, about that. Right? It was. Yeah, so I smile when Tom Brady, just because yesterday a friend of mine in Tampa, Andre, he posted on Facebook last night that he was at this event and Tom Brady was there, and so he had a picture with Tom. So it's fresh in my mind because I saw the thing and I was texting with Andre last night about it. But yeah, Tom Brady is he's a GOAT, right? For one, whether you liked New England, whether you like Tom Brady, there's no question. He definitely is one of those people that can control his emotions and that can do what he needs to do when it's all on the line and make things happen.
Yeah, and it's very important. It was the Super Bowl where Joe Montana and the 49ers were down, and they had that last drive where he threw the touchdown pass to John Taylor. I forgot who they were playing. Was it Cincinnati or was it Denver? I don't recall. But in the huddle, he talks about, or others talk about, Jerry Rice, I think it was. He walked into the huddle, and he was cool, and he looked up into the stands and he goes, wow. He goes, look who's watching us play today. It's John Candy, from mm-hmm. SCTV and, mm-hmm. and all those great movies, and everybody kind of laughed at it, and he kind of, he brought the situation down. He diffused the situation. And to me, that's the sign of a true champion, is that when you got your back up against the wall, and this is the truest thing that you'll probably hear today, is that when you got your back up against the wall, you need to remain calm and cool, even though you want to yell and scream. And, you can figure that out later, what you did wrong, but you need to remain calm and cool, because those decisions could mean the survival of your business, your employees, as well as your family, right?
Absolutely. Yes. We talked about Tom Brady and the Super Bowl. I knew a guy that son had played for the Falcons on that Super Bowl team, and he was at the game, and the dad was like, you look at Tom Brady as he was on the sideline, and he's just as cool and calm as can be, just waiting for his time to get back in. And another quarterback that's like that is Patrick Mahomes. Right, Patrick. I think we've talked about this before. I had his agent, Lee Steinberg, on my podcast, and I asked Lee. I said, what is it about Patrick that makes Patrick great? And what Lee said was, it's his ability to adopt a quiet mind and really, just stay cool and collected in those moments. And that's what we have to do off the field as well. That's not just true in football. It's true in all of life. You have to be able to control your emotions.
And he's a young man in his 20s, and he has that quality already. Absolutely. That's why he's been in Super Bowls, before. That's why he's won a Super Bowl, even though it wasn't successful this time. It's very difficult to beat Tom Brady. But they both were talking after the game was over, and you can see how the way I took it was Tom was probably imparting some good comments and how to help him out, and so
Sure.
forth. Because, now how do you develop this? How do you develop this when something happens, Jen? How do you approach it where something goes wrong and then something else goes wrong? Take us through a quick process of what you do besides throwing the computer out the window like I did in my younger days. What do you do in order to get that mindset where you can change and pivot?
Sure. I mean, for me now, I mean, it's just like this. I have to think about, okay, well, what did I do, right, to get to that point?
Right.
Because it is a matter of repetition. I mean, the more you do it, it becomes instinct, right? And you just know how to do it. And so, I mean, I think it comes back to, like we talked about, having that attitude of gratitude. And if you write down every single day the things that you're grateful for, and I'm not just talking about like, oh, I'm grateful to be alive, I'm grateful I have I mean, that's all great stuff. But think about the little things that you're appreciative of as well. Think about, for example, the sheets that you get to sleep in. Are they super silky and soft or whatever? Like, really just think about all those things that you appreciate in your life and write them down. Some people have a gratitude journal. I do not. I just think about them. But why I think that is the important first step is because you're shifting your mindset, right, to be appreciative of all these things so that when things don't go your way, then again, like we talked about, it's easy to just brush that off because you're thinking it's all about perspective, right? I mean, what you're going through, there are people that would love to have the problems that you go through because their lives are so much far worse, right, than ours. And so it's important to not lose sight of that.
Yeah, it is.
That's the first part.
Yeah, for me, I like to just kind of sit back and take a few moments to assess the situation. Sometimes you don't have that luxury. I call that a luxury. Sometimes you don't have that luxury. Sometimes you have to make that decision and you have to make it quick. And so you call upon that experience that you have. And the more you do it, the better off you are. And I'm not perfect today, although, it sounds like you and I have reached a point where we can, quickly assess and move forward when it comes to that. And it's also good to have a team around you that can help you out and that can, follow through with orders and give you suggestions in addition to, which is very important, right?
Right. So going back to your question about, process or steps, like it's not like this event happens and then you think, okay, let me express gratitude. No, right. So that's something that you should be doing on a daily basis to get you conditioned so that you can handle these situations more quickly and more productively, I'll say. So the next part is being aware that an event has happened, right? So the event happens and recognizing like, okay, this thing just happened and it's not what I expected. It's not going the way I want, whatever, but like recognize the event. And then you tell yourself, now what? Right. So that's more of a quick process. Like, okay, this happened. And just knowing, okay, I have a choice, right? I can be pissed off or I cannot. I mean, I remember I was doing a speaking event in Jacksonville, Florida, a couple of years ago. And I was talking about the same concept. And the guy was like, well, one of the guys in the audience was like, well, it's kind of hard to do when you're on your way to work and you get pulled over for speeding. And I was like, no, I'm like, it's not. I'm like, let's be honest for a second. I'm like, how many times have you sped before? Right. I'm like, you just got caught this time, but it's happened. At the end of the day, you can let that ruin the rest of your day. Or you could say, okay, yeah, you know what? My bad. I was speeding. So fine. I got caught this time. I'll take care of that later. I got stuff to do. And, you just compartmentalize that piece, right? There's nothing you can do about that now. And then you choose how you're going to respond. I mean, are you going to be upset? Sure, of course. Now you got to pay it, right? But you minimize the negative emotions around it.
Right. You have to minimize the negative emotions because you have to control them. Again, what happens is that if you don't, then one thing happens, then the next thing happens, and it just starts falling apart from there. And again, this is not Pollyanna. You're just looking for the possibilities because you can think more clearly and you have that, what I call peripheral vision to see the other side of the ball, right? So that you can take a look and say, oh, I didn't notice this. But if you're in a state, it becomes difficult, my son didn't want to study so much last night and he studied a lot yesterday, but he's got a lot of tests. And so he started in and I got off track. I had a lot of work to do. I had to sit back and I had to look at him and say, go study. Then I had to take a few minutes. I mean, something as simple as that. But then if I didn't do what I was doing, and I know that you went to bed at midnight last night, I think I went to bed around 12:30, 1 o'clock, because that's just the way it is in our lives, right? And even something as simple as that can derail you. And now the Monday, you're behind the eight ball a little bit, and you need to figure out what do you need to do to catch up. So remaining calm, being the GOAT is where it's at these days, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just one thing I want to draw a distinction to. There's a difference between controlling your emotions and suppressing pain and negativity. So if you're going through something that is so traumatic, or death of a family member, relationship issue, like that doesn't mean like, oh, I'm supposed to control my emotions and not think about it.
No.
Very different.
This is right. This is, that's a situation where it's a little bit different. And, that's more of a personal, of course you're going to be distraught. Of course you're going to be emotional. And that's when you should be emotional. We're talking about the day-to-day grind in your business and making decisions for a family and so forth, so that you're not, so emotional, because once your emotions start ruling you, the day is done as far as I'm concerned, right?
Right, absolutely. So I just wanted to draw that distinction, because it's not about, if something happens that is a little bit more personal, or, I mean, even so, when you have those situations, I mean, we talked about who you surround yourself with. I mean, obviously lean on your support system, talk through those things, but don't remain stuck. Take the time that you need, but then don't remain stuck in those situations too, but process through that grief, that sorrow, those sad emotions. But we're talking about, just stuff going wrong, day-to-day chaos. Don't let that stuff weigh you down. Figure out how to quickly let that go, control those emotions, so that you can still have a productive day.
Yeah, and when you're in your business, need to be productive as much as you possibly can, because very important, very, very important. Okay, yes. Jen, is there anything else that you would like to discuss today?
I'll turn it over to you first. I may have one thing at the end. If there's anything else you want to discuss first. Yeah,
you know what? Teamwork. When you're an entrepreneur and things go wrong, you can rely on your team. You got to rely on yourself. You can rely on your team. Teamwork, because the team will help you get out of whatever it is that you're in order to move the ball forward. Without a good team that is surrounding you, whether it's your personal life, your professional life, whatever it is, your family life, you want to have a team around you that can move the ball forward, so that you can also move the ball. Because without that team, production goes down, right? And revenues go down. You got to pay everybody, right? People are relying on you, all right? And this is what people don't seem to understand. People do rely on you to get that weekly or bi-weekly paycheck, insurances and all of that stuff that entrepreneurs pay for. All right. So utilize your team. Make sure you have a good team around you. And if you don't have a good team around you, rethink your team.
Absolutely. Yeah. You should always be thinking about, who are you letting in your inner circle? And are they the right people? Not only from a skill set competency standpoint when it comes to your business, right? But also from just a cultural fit, personality, mindset. Are they the right people that you should be surrounding yourself with?
Absolutely. What is your last thoughts, Jen?
So what I wanted to share was, going to this theme about when things don't go your way and controlling your emotions. I mean, something that I posted, I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I posted this the other day because I was thinking about this, and I just wanted to share kind of with the world what my promise was to the world. So I want to quickly just kind of share that post here, because I think it's important, and I want people to think about what their promise to the world will be. So if I can read it quickly.
Absolutely. I'm going to your LinkedIn page as we speak right now, so that I can read it along, or not, I'm going to read it with you, but I can see the post.
So what I said was some thoughts that I wanted to share. No matter how much I might be hurting because of someone or something that has happened in my life, my promise to the world will always be this. Every single day, I will suit up with a mindset that is full of gratitude and be appreciative that I've been blessed and given another day. Every single day, I will commit to being a better person. Every single day, I will show up with a smile on my face and shine brightly to light up those around me. Every single day, I will love others and always be kind, for we know the world certainly needs more of it. Every single day, I will vibrate higher than and above the noise and the negativity that was trying to dial down my ambition. Every single day, I will strive to make the world a better place and be the example that I want to see. Every single day, I'm almost done, I will be that person that is there for others and let them know that everything is going to be all right. Every single day, I will be fully present in every moment, and I will show up in those moments like I am supposed to be there. Every single day, I will suit up, I will show up, and I will move the ball no matter what. Now, the reason I put this out there was because no matter what happens in my day, I still get to choose how I want to show up. Right? Like, and so that choice is always mine. I could choose not to do something, which is a choice also. But at the end of the day, it's all up to you. And so I just wanted to put that out there as a reminder to people. Like, that's what I wrote as my promise. So no matter what happens, I'm going to show up. I'm going to suit up. I'm going to show up so that I can move the ball. And I use those words purposely because I end every podcast with, make sure you suit up, you show up, and you move the ball. But I mean, I think it's important for people watching this to think about, what is your promise to the world going to be? What are you going to do no matter what, even if things don't go how you want?
That's right. So I am grateful for our Mondays. I'm grateful for you being, for us being co-hosts on this. I'm grateful that you've written the book, and I've just shared your post onto my LinkedIn timeline because it's important to do. Well,
thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So, Jen, it's been interesting this morning.
It has indeed.
It's been fun. We've had a lot of laughs, and we'll have a couple more laughs. We'll have a couple more laughs when we get off today. So I want to thank you for being on today, and we'll have, we're gonna be back on next Monday. Hopefully everything will be settled by then.
Hopefully so.
Hopefully everything will be settled by then. So I want to thank everybody for listening. Please share this with family, friends, neighbors, co-workers. This is important information. Jen, how can people contact you?
You can search the hashtag Move the Ball, and you should see me on multiple social platforms. LinkedIn is the big one that I post all the time, but I'm on the other ones as well. I have a Move the Ball Facebook group too. If you want to join that, just go to Facebook and search Move the Ball. You'll find us there. And then you can check out the website, getinsidethehuddle.com. It's got more about me, more about the podcast. All the episodes are there too.
You can go to my Facebook page. We put the podcast on my Facebook page because it's interesting to listen to. So I'm Dr. Dan. You can find me at suburbanwellnessgroup.com or greenleafbewell.com. I'm Daniel Cardellichio. You can find me on all Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and all of that. So Jen, thank you very much for being here today. And thank you for actually calming me down before I threw my computer out the window. I want to thank everybody for being here. Be the best versions of yourself, and we'll see you next Monday. Thank you very much.